Welcome to Crime Most French, a fortnightly podcast covering intriguing cases carried out on French soil. Researched and narrated by Cedric and rudely interrupted by me, Melanie. We're the true crime podcast on the Alliance. Crack open le vin and let the mayhem commence.
This is episode 83, The Marseille Ripper. Between May and November 2008, many women disappear from Marseille, in the southeast of France, without a trace. Searches take place, but nobody is found. He's a serial killer on the loose.
So this is obviously, he's called the Marseille Ripper after Jack.
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay.
There's probably, at any point in time, one serial killer called the Ripper at some point on the planet.
In each country, probably.
Possibly even in each country, yes. On the 7th of May 2008, Fatima Saya, 20 years old student, is contacted by a man for a babysitter job. She's meant to meet him at a subway station near a kindergarten. It's just a short ride away from home.
Right.
Marseille has a subway. She goes on her own because she wants to make good impression. She doesn't think her boyfriend, who offered her to come with her, would inspire confidence in the client. He's a bit scruffy around the edges.
That doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing.
No, but she doesn't want him around because she thinks that the guy is going to say,
for
my
first
kids are not going with him.
Possibly, yes. A dog-eared boyfriend's not the best look.
Yes. At around 6 p.m., her boyfriend receives a strange text from Fatima. It tells her that she met an old girlfriend and she'd come home back at the weekend. The content is not entirely surprising, but the form is. Fatima was used to spell phonetically in her text.
Right.
Millennial.
Yeah, yes.
The one that he received was properly spelled with proper sentences. So he thought, that is very weird. But there's nothing he can do about it, so he just decided to be patient for her to come back.
I think in many of these kind of like post-digital true crime murders, many of the red flags that go up involve social media and texting.
And phones, yes.
It's just, it's almost like your thumbprint of how you text.
Yes.
So, I mean, if I got a text from you that wasn't... I'm not saying that you sign off all of your texts like Raymond Holt, but we use proper punctuation. We tend not to abbreviate words. So yes, it's a very big giveaway and a very big red flag nowadays, I think.
Yes. So it still goes in his head and he decides to call her after a while and she doesn't answer.
Oh yeah, that's the next red flag.
Yes. In the middle of the night, he just can't wait anymore. He hasn't heard from her again. He's just too worried. So he goes back to where he left her in the afternoon and asks people he meets in the street in the middle of the night if they've seen Fatima. And nobody's seen her.
Well, it's not really that much of a surprise.
In the middle of the night, no. Marseille is busy, but still,
yes.
It's the middle of the night. The next morning, Fatima's mum finds her bedroom empty. She never came home last night. Her mum and boyfriend decide that it's time to go to the local police station.
Yeah.
So they explain to the cops that Fatima is a reliable girl, that she wouldn't disappear without a trace, that it's weird that she would go away for a few days.
Yeah.
But she's 20.
Oh, don't tell me.
Well, no, they do something.
All right, okay, that's good.
They do something. They question her friends and her boyfriend, and they learn that the babysitting call came at lunchtime. She was surrounded by friends at the time. She was at school. They checked the boyfriend's alibi. He went to see his mom at the hospital after dropping Fatima off at the train station. And they confirmed that, yes, it is true. He was at hospital at the time. They even checked the subway CCTV to make sure that he really left off Fatima at the station and then went away and didn't come back. Right. And it's all confirmed by CCTV.
Okay, yeah.
So at the moment, the boyfriend is innocent.
Okay, so he's not in the picture. But I mean, it's always the first person they look at, yes. Isn't it? Yes.
Yes. He also starts looking for her. So he recruits all his friends. They print flyers and distribute flyers in the street.
I'll tell you what, for being somebody who's a bit scruffy around the edges, he's a good boyfriend.
Yeah, that's not the opinion of the family, though. Her family doesn't like him, and as far as they're concerned, it's him. So they say, why did he leave her alone? Why did he not wait with her? They're a bit harsh. They obviously don't like him for some reason. We don't know why. But they've decided it's him.
Yeah, well, sometimes, especially if you're young, you like to meddle in your kid's life, don't you?
Yeah. But the cops tell them, it's not him. We checked his alibi. He wasn't anywhere near where Fatima was. He was at the hospital with his mum. But no, they don't care. It's him.
I mean, my God, he's at the hospital visiting his mother, for crying out loud. He cannot be a bad man.
They don't care. There's something they don't like about him.
Of course.
Having found nothing obvious, the cops open an inquiry for kidnapping. Because at the moment we don't know what happened to her.
Yeah, we don't know where she is. We don't know if she's alive or dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they start checking the calls that she received and made after she was left at the subway station.
Yeah.
They can track her movements during the afternoon, and they confirm that the phone received a few texts. The cops also trace the call for the babysitting job. It was made from a phone box using a prepaid phone card.
Oh, God.
Can't be traced. All they know is that a friend of Fatima's, who was with her at lunchtime when the call came, wrote down a phone number.
Right.
And wrote that a grey Golf would pick her up. Because she heard the conversation and she wrote down what she heard of the conversation.
Wow, okay. That's
no idea why.
That's kind of like almost like she had
Yes.
a third eye that knew something was going to go bad.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's still not that much to go on in Grey Golf.
No.
There would have been tons
No,
of
it's
them.
a shame they didn't give the reg.
But not on the phone, because all she was writing down is what she heard on the phone. So they look into Fatima's life, but they can't find anything out of the ordinary.
She's 20, for goodness sake.
Yeah, but she was serious. She wasn't partying a lot. She
No.
didn't have any weird and bad relationships. She had good friends. No reason for anyone to want to harm her.
Right. What you want a 20-year-old girl to be, basically.
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Yeah.
They also search her room and they find nothing in her room.
I should call her a young lady, not really a girl at 20.
Yes. So having nothing to work with, the cops decide to attack the problem old style. About 60 of them go down the streets and start canvassing the area.
Okay.
They ask everyone they meet. They stop absolutely everyone they see in the street and ask them if they've seen Fatima, and they have a photo of her with them.
Right.
In the meantime, the boyfriend that Fatima's parents suspect is involved continues to go around the neighborhood putting up flyers and asking people if they've seen her. I've seen news interviews of him going around shops and putting things in windows and everything.
And how scruffy does he look?
Not that scruffy, I have to say.
Speaking from one scruff bag to the next, not that bad.
No, he just looks normal. He looks like a 20-year-old, so I don't know.
You're right.
He must have said something the parents didn't like.
No, probably.
Or maybe the parents didn't like any of her boyfriends.
I would suspect so. I would suspect so.
But really looking at him, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Of course, at that point, all the mediums and psychics of the area get involved, because why not exploit people's misery?
Oh, God, these people are such succubuses. They can just all fuck
evil.
off. I hate when they involve bullshit like that.
Yes.
It really annoys me.
But of course, nothing comes out of it, because they're just bullshitters.
Well, yes.
After a week, the cops get a bit lucky. A vagrant woman contacts them. She reports that she's been contacted about 2 days before Fatima's disappearance by a man who offered to pay her a few euros if she made some phone calls for him from a phone box.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound hugely dodgy.
So, he gave her, I think, about 10 euros and a list of phone numbers. He asked her to call these numbers, pretending to be his wife, to hire a babysitter.
Mm.
The meeting place is the subway station where Fatima was last seen.
Mm.
The cops obviously can't believe their ears. The woman describes the man and they make a photo of it.
Right.
And they distribute it around. Nothing came of that. The cops also compare the IP addresses that visited the ad that Fatima had put online, and they connect it to the various phone numbers that woman reported she was given.
Mm.
They discover, I think it was 5 or 7 IPs that visited all the ads obviously a number of people looking for babysitters.
Okay.
So nothing that weird.
So genuinely looking for babysitters rather than looking for a live body.
Yes. But they also find one that came from a local cyber cafe that still existed apparently at the time.
Wow.
And they think, that is a bit weird.
It's very 90s, isn't it, that cyber cafe?
Yes. But the fact that these numbers are connected tell them that that vagrant woman has something.
Yeah.
She's not making it up.
No.
A few days after she talks to the Roses, the woman meets the mystery man in the bar again. He wants her help for some obscure job somewhere. Something to do with jewelry. I think he explained to her that a friend of his was selling jewelry and he wanted somebody to do an inventory. A story that doesn't check out.
Yeah.
But now at that point, she suspects that he's involved in Fatima's disappearance. And she's scared.
Yeah.
Because why would he come back to her? She refuses the job. And he insists very, very heavily that he needs to come and offers more and more money.
Oh, crap.
But she still refuses and he leaves.
Good.
As soon as he's gone, she calls the cops.
Yeah.
But by the time they arrive, it's too late. He's gone.
Mm.
Even the glass that he used, because they thought DNA, 2008.
Oh, yes, true.
Had already been washed by the bar.
Oh, crap.
Steam washed, and there was nothing left on the glass. They checked.
Oh, she should have grabbed it, even if it had two sets of...
Yeah, but it's not her job. She's not a cop, so
True.
she didn't think of that.
True.
Also, that possibly could have been a problem with the chain of evidence anyway if she had touched it.
Mm.
So anyway, they also check the CCTV, but it's rubbish quality and they can't recognize anybody.
Yeah. Why is it only ever HD quality in kind of like
on
films
TV?
and TV?
Yes.
That really annoys me.
Then the cops receive another phone call. It's from a high school girl this time. She has read about Fatima's disappearance and she connected it with a strange thing that happened to her. In April, a few months earlier, she missed her bus to school. So she decided to hitchhike to school.
Oh, no, not in this day and age. Should anybody, and she's in Marseille, for goodness sake. Surely Uber existed by that point.
2008, I don't know if it existed. No idea.
I mean, I've never Uber. We live in...
Well, there's no Uber around here, but
yeah. We live in the arse end of nowhere, you know.
Yeah. No, I don't know if it existed at the time, but anyway.
Nobody after kind of like 1975 should be.
Yeah, but she missed her bus. She had no choice. Oh, she thought so. And it was in the area where Fatima disappeared as well.
Okay.
So she decides to hitchhike. And someone stops. She got in the car.
God, was it a Golf?
No, she said it was a white car. So she wasn't sure what car it was.
It was a white car.
But as soon as she was sitting in the car, she had a really bad feeling.
Yeah.
She said that he didn't say or do anything strange, but she had a very, very weird feeling sitting next to him.
That's because you're getting in a complete stranger. You know, you don't have no connection to this person.
No.
I mean, 90% of the world are arseholes, you know. And
yeah, but not 90% are murderers.
I'm not saying 90% are murderers, but, you know, you just...
Anyway, she gets in the car, she has a bad feeling. The guy offered her a job. He wants her phone number so he can call back to arrange a few things. Because she had that bad feeling, she gave the guy her email address instead. And several times he contacted her by email to arrange a meeting in the same place where he picked her up. She never went. But now that she heard that story, she thinks, could it be him? If it is him, then the cops know that it's a guy who's looking for prey. It's not just a guy who happened to do something to Fatima. It's somebody who's looking for somebody to, we don't know what yet, but certainly abduct at least.
There's something scurrilous.
Yes. So they check the IP address of the emails, and they discover that the email addresses from where the emails were sent match 4 different cybercafes in Marseille.
This guy's clever at being squirrely, isn't he?
Yeah. In theory, the cybercafes are supposed to keep a register of who uses their computers.
But they don't.
But they don't.
No.
So now the cops are thinking, okay, that's him. They don't know for sure, but they have a feeling that it's him.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be other victims that they don't know about, because that was April, that's several months before Fatima disappeared.
Mm.
So what happened between April and August? For 5 months, nothing else happens. Until the 5th of October 2008. On that day, Irina Sitnik, a Ukrainian prostitute, disappears. A couple, another Ukrainian prostitute and her boyfriend, go to the police station a few days later. They're worried because their friend has disappeared without a trace a few days earlier.
Mm.
On the 22nd of October 2008, another prostitute, Cristina Baulea, 23 years old, from Romania, disappears.
Mm.
Then, on the 7th of November, another prostitute, Zineb Chebu, 28 years old, from Algeria, disappears as she went shopping. Her disappearance is reported by her mum. So now the cops are thinking, wow, that's a lot of people disappearing in a few months.
Mm. It's always funny how it's the lowest rung of the prostitutes, people, sex workers are always...
Yes. But also, you would think, if it was in the US, the cops would say, well, they're just prostitutes, that's what happens to prostitutes. But I saw an interview with one of the cops who was involved in the story, and he said what really surprised them is that Marseille has a lot of crime, but it's organized crime. So it's fraud, it's theft, it's not murder, and it's not abductions. That's not what they do in Marseille. So 3 prostitutes and a student who disappear was very uncommon, and that's what they think is the same guy.
Did they? I mean, I start to wonder now if a lot of these poor women are trafficked, and
well, they were probably trafficked to France in the first place.
Yes, oh, definitely, yeah.
But that's not what the Marseille mafia does.
No, it's like they don't.
No,
they don't keep them in really cheap hotels.
The guy who I saw interviewed said it's usually Bulgarian or Romanian gangs that do it.
Oh, right, okay.
But again, they don't do murder; they just do human trafficking. So
they just do something slightly less scuzzy.
Slightly, yes.
Yeah.
But that made it very uncommon because they said...
So that's more of a red flag in Marseille than
exactly. They said
would have been.
Disappearances, so many disappearances in such a short time in Marseille.
Is very unusual.
Has never been seen before.
Right.
It doesn't happen.
Yes.
So
because when you started talking about schoolgirls, I'm like going, hang on a minute. You just can't call somebody who kills a group of women a ripper. It has to be some kind of sex work involved for them to name. You'd be named a ripper.
Yeah. Well, now we have 3 prostitutes.
Okay, I know, that makes sense.
So Zineb, the last one, told a friend that she had been invited to a restaurant by a client.
Mm-hmm.
He had also offered her a lot of money to spend the night with him, but she had refused. Later that evening, her friend tried to contact her, but her phone was switched off. She's a millennial. That doesn't happen.
No.
So she got very, very worried, and she reported it to the police. The cops think that the 3 disappearances are connected because they have too much in common, but they have nothing to go on. There's no information, no trace, no ransom, no body, absolutely nothing.
Right. So that's somebody that's making them disappear. That's not somebody taking them for gain.
Yes. And that makes it complicated to solve.
Yeah.
Once again, they get lucky. A Moroccan prostitute, Soumia El Kandadi.
This is a bad podcast for lots of unusual names.
Yeah, from all over the place. Contacts them to report that on the night of the 5th to the 6th of October, a man had offered her an insane amount of money for her services, and she hadn't been able to refuse. Because I think he offered her 900 euros for one night. Again, I saw interviews with cops, and they said the rate in Marseille at the time would have been 100 euros. 900 euros for that was insane.
He went too big, maybe.
Well, she couldn't refuse. She went.
Okay, yes, that's right.
He picked her up in his car, and they drove around for a while. And she had the feeling that he was trying to lose her.
Right.
But she couldn't be sure. Once they got to a low-rise apartment block, which she described to the cops in minute detail. She seems to have a good memory. He made her come to the first floor via an external staircase. Once in, he suddenly became aggressive, and he hit her and raped her. At some point, she begs for a drink, so he takes her to the bathroom. And she says that in the bathtub, she spotted the body of a woman.
Oh my God.
And he told her that if she doesn't behave, that's what will happen to her as well.
Holy crap.
Trying to stay alive, now, she decides to flatter him and make him feel good about himself.
Uh-huh.
And it totally works. At some point, he's done with her and drives her back. And at that point, the trip takes a lot less time because he's not trying to lose her
he's
anymore.
going on a direct route. My God.
And that's how she survived and contacted the cops.
That guy's insane.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's insane for doing what he's doing, but he's insane for letting her go.
Yes, but she obviously managed to brainwash him in reverse.
Yes. Good for her.
Yes.
Good for her.
The cops discover that 2 of the prostitutes' mobile phone are still transmitting.
Right.
They're moving around Marseille. They track one of them and go where it is. And they find a young boy with a SIM card. He says that a man gave it to him.
Uh-huh.
The cops believe that the purpose was to make the cops believe
that they were still alive?
Exactly. They're still alive and still moving around, and therefore no need to look into them.
All right.
They track the other SIM card,
Uh-huh.
and they find the people who have them. They interrogate them. They don't seem to have anything to do with the victims.
No.
They tell the story of a guy who met them in the street and asked them to use his SIM card, because his phone was dead, to make a few phone calls to some numbers. That sounds familiar.
Uh-huh.
Once again, there's a photo of it made, but nothing came out of it. One of the people interrogated by the cops tells them that he has seen the man who gave him the SIM card before in the area. And he promises that if he sees them again, he'll call the cops.
Right.
And he does. A few days later, he sees the guy in the street.
Uh-huh.
He tries to go and talk to him, but the guy runs away. So he runs after the guy.
Oh no, don't do that.
Yeah, yes. And there's a whole kerfuffle going on, which alerts a local cop who just happened to drive past.
Oh, right, okay.
So they all jump on the guy and arrest him. So that's how they got someone.
But is it the right one?
The cops know that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's called Patrick Salame. He's just out of the prison, where he spent the last 16 years, out of 20, for homejacking with violence, including stabbing, killing pets, and this kind of stuff.
Oh, he sounds like a treat.
Well, he got sentenced to 20 years, so you know he's heavy.
Mm.
Because that's murder territory.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't murder anyone. He stabbed someone, but he didn't murder anyone.
Attempted murder still.
Yes.
Going down the same route.
The cops start searching his house. His wife is totally surprised. She has no idea what's going on. She doesn't know anything.
She shouldn't really be totally surprised that he's in trouble again.
No, but she doesn't know that he's apparently involved in maybe abducting people.
Yeah.
She says she has no idea what's going on.
Mm.
The first thing they notice when they come in is his art on the walls, which is very, very weird. I've seen some photos of it, but I haven't found many. It's distorted women, it's buried women, it's women behind bars, this kind of stuff. It's extremely weird and very strange colors. It's all orange and red and bleh.
It's just, I don't know.
It's weird shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be kind of weirded out to be living with somebody who was doing that.
Apparently she wasn't.
I mean, I go a lot of exhibitions and, you know, there's nobody more pretentious than me, but I mean, reading that guy has issues.
Yes.
And he does not think a lot of women.
Yeah, definitively. When you see his stuff, definitively there's something going on there.
I mean, that's sending out bad vibes.
Yes.
Lady, you should be running away.
Yeah, but at the same time, she's not the murdered one, so... So they don't find anything in the flat, but they find the plans of a building owned by Salame's mother.
Right.
So they go there. And as they approach, they suddenly connect what they see to the description that Sumia,
the Moroccan lady,
the Moroccan prostitute, gave her or where she was kept.
Uh-huh.
and everything matches.
Right.
So they go and get her.
So we're going in to expect a body in the bathtub.
Yes.
Then.
But first, they go and get her because they want her to confirm or not if it was the place before they go in. They want her to say, yes, it was here.
Right.
And as soon as she comes around...
she freaks the shit out.
Pretty much. She feels sick and nearly faints.
Holy crap.
That's where she was.
Okay, yeah.
On the 13th of November in the morning, they start questioning Salame.
Uh-huh.
And he obviously denies everything because that's what they always do.
Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't know prostitutes.
Of course not.
Doesn't know of any disappearance.
He doesn't know schoolgirls. He's never been to a cyber cafe.
Exactly. He doesn't know any of that.
Yeah.
The cops ask Salame about equipment they find in her mother's building. There's ropes, there's pliers, there's voice recorders, there's condoms, there's women's underwear, some jewelry. He has no explanation for that. It's not his.
It sounds like the Buffalo Bill torture kit.
Pretty much, yes, and trophies.
Yes.
The neighbors report that they have heard some women screams at night a few times.
Mm.
They even saw him move mattresses out of the flat in the middle of the night, which they thought was weird, because it is.
Mm.
During his holding in jail, the cops get the people who have been using his stolen SIM cards to see if they recognize him.
Mm-hmm.
And they all confirm, yeah, that's the guy who gave us the SIM cards. So now he can be connected to the prostitutes. They do the same for Sumia, the Moroccan prostitute. And as soon as she sees him, through the two-way mirror, she faints and hits her head on the floor.
Somebody needs to check her blood pressure. She sounds like she's suffering from low blood pressure. Yeah,
the cop who was there said as soon as she saw through the glass, she fell and I didn't have time to catch her.
Oh my God. Poor woman.
Yes. So she wakes up at some point and she recognizes him, obviously.
Yeah.
At that point, Salame decides that he's not going to talk to anyone except the judge.
Right. Of course. I mean, he's kind of like been through all this before, so he knows he knows the ropes.
Exactly. He's seen cops and judges in the last 16 years, so yes.
Exactly.
In the meantime, some tests are done on the DNA found in the flat, and yes, it's the DNA of the victims mixed with his own.
Uh-huh.
Also, the jewelry is traced back to Irina and Zineb.
They
so
never
two of the
learn.
missing prostitutes.
They really, really never learn these.
I think he never thought that they would connect him to that flat. Because it wasn't his.
Look how he's his mother's.
It's his mother's.
Sake.
Well, obviously he's
it's
not a genius.
It's not really much of a stretch.
Yeah, but he's a murderer, not a genius. So they don't find any link to Fatima, though. Absolutely nothing that would link him to her.
Yeah, where is she?
Yes. And also, there's nobody. So that's what he tells them. He says, there's nobody. Why are you doing anything to me?
No body, no crime.
Exactly. But the cops decide that, no. They charge him with 3 murders.
Yeah, it's more than enough. Yeah.
On the 11th of March 2009, so a few months later, there's a reenactment done. But Salame denies everything and refuses to take part, so that's pointless. They send him back to jail.
This guy's just 7 shades of scumbag.
Yep. On the 6th of May 2011, he's also charged with the presumed murder of Fatima Saya. Yeah. Even though there's still nobody found. But that is the cops think that there's enough to link him to her.
Yeah. She's gone. I mean, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. They can kind of link him to her because of the phone numbers and the calls.
Yeah.
That's all they have. They have nothing else to link him to her. But they decide that's enough. Yeah. There's 3 other murders. She has disappeared. He has called her. He has to be somehow involved, so they charge him. So that goes to trial. And the first trial starts on the 17th of March 2014. So that's a lot of years afterwards.
That's a lot of years after.
Yeah, that's nearly 7 years afterwards. During that time, he writes a lot of letters, which are nearly entire books, to people. He blames judges, he blames cops, because he says the judges are working for the cops, and the cops are manipulating the witnesses. He thinks he's a good writer. He writes a lot.
Narcissists like the sound of their own voice.
Yeah, totally. A lot of the trial relies on Sumia's testimony because she's the one survivor. And the defense tries all they can to discredit her, especially since she didn't report what happened to her immediately. It's only after she has heard about Fatima that she reports something.
I wonder how many times, I don't think the police would be doing anything else if women who work in the sex industry have to go through crap and they, every time a John does something odd or beats the crap out of them, police wouldn't be doing anything else other than dealing with...
That would be their full-time job,
exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So that, I think that answers that question.
Yes. Also, the defense highlights the fact that he let her go. So clearly he's not killing people.
Oh, he's a prince. He let her go because she said the right words to him. Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, what the defense is saying is it didn't go well between them, and she's trying to get revenge by accusing him of various things, but nothing really happened. So that's how they try to present it.
She's a complete and utter psycho.
Yes.
She's the psycho.
Yes, exactly. That's what they're trying to do. Because if they can discredit her, then there's very little evidence apart from the DNA from his flat. That's pretty much all they have.
And the underwear and the trophies, the jewellery.
But that doesn't prove murder. So...
No, it's all circumstantial, but when you have a lot of circumstantial evidence, it paints the picture of a murdering psycho.
Yes. So what the cops think is happening is Salome regretted letting her go. So what he did was he went through prostitutes trying to find her again and killed the prostitutes he found on the way.
Right.
So to make sure that they wouldn't do the same thing she did.
So just kill every prostitute in Marseille.
Essentially, he's looking for her because he knows she's a prostitute. She can't find her, and every prostitute he found, he kills because he doesn't want her to talk.
She was lucky.
She was very lucky, yes. On the 3rd of April 2014, he's sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 22 years for kidnapping, rape, and murder. That's for the prostitutes. Oh my God,
the French government should never let him out.
On October 2015, a year and a half later, that's the second trial for Fatima's murder.
Right.
Between the two trials, Salome's been writing to Fatima's parents because he knows that her parents are blaming the boyfriend. They still don't believe it's someone else. So he's charging the boyfriend and he's telling them not to let go, to insist at the trial with the judges and with the police that it is the boyfriend and they should look into the boyfriend, not him. He's totally innocent. He hasn't done anything. It is the boyfriend. And the family just, they swallow it because that's what they want.
Do you know, if only this was a visual podcast, you could see how incredulous my face is. What does this guy need to do? This poor young guy who's trying to desperately find his girlfriend. Oh, these people are just...
Yeah, but that's what they want, and that's what he tells them, so they hear what they want. So,
okay, so what's the fallout? Carry on.
During the trial, they take his side.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They testify against the boyfriend in his favor. And the cops tell them, no, we checked the alibi. It can't be the boyfriend. It's strictly impossible. They just won't accept that.
I feel so bad for this young guy. I mean, he must be in his mid-20s by that.
So it's kind of weird because during the trial, the boyfriend testifies against the guy. Yeah. Because he says...
Because it's clearly him.
He says during the trial... No, the boyfriend says during the trial what he heard Fatima say after the phone call.
Yeah.
And the family is also testifying at the trial, but against him. Not against Salome, who's the one accused of the murder. It's very, very strange.
No, it's very, very bizarre.
Anyway, he's sentenced on the 22nd of October to life in prison with a minimum of 22 years again.
Is this concurrent or...
In France, it's always concurrent. Because you don't have crazy sentences.
True. Yes, he's not sentenced to 10,000 years.
Yes, you're essentially sentenced to the heaviest. Mm-hmm. That's the way it works. Okay. But he's been sentenced twice to life in prison with a minimum of 22 years. Mm. But he appeals, obviously. Of
course he does.
Because he hasn't done it. So the appeals are tried together this time, not separately, on the 18th of April 2016. And again, he's found guilty. And again, sentenced to life in prison with 22 years minimum.
Right.
He appeals again.
Of course he does.
Of course he does, yes. But his appeal is rejected on the 11th of July 2017.
Good.
And he's still in prison and most likely would end his life in prison. And that's the end of the story. But out of potentially 4 murders, we found nobody. Nobody has ever been found. He's always refused to accept that he has killed anybody. He's never given any information to the cops. So there's still nobody for the 3 prostitutes and Fatima.
I think this guy is up amongst the top of the scumbags we've covered.
He's pretty bad, yes.
I mean, just not to not give this body back to the family.
And also, given the big gaps and how long he's been looking for victims, there's probably more.
More, yeah, of course there is.
But nobody knows yet about those, because the victims most likely are going to be people who are not going to be missed, like prostitutes. And they've been trafficked, so they don't officially exist.
Mm-hmm.
So he could kill one and nobody would report it. And that's it. The 3 we know about were reported by boyfriends, parents who happen to live in the same country for Zineb, for example, and friends.
Yes.
Because otherwise, nobody would have known. They had been dead for a while and the cops weren't aware of it.
No, this guy is just...
So that could be way
so
more.
Awful.
Because there's been 6-month gaps between 2 bodies at some point, or 2 victims. What did he do during these 6 months? Nobody knows.
These poor women and their families is just so awful. Really, just it's so awful. And just for our podcast, I want to end on something positive. For a shout out for a group of men and ladies that we sometimes are very disparaging about, and Cedric's now doing very, what are you talking about? I want to shout out to our local Rozzers who came and waved at our webcam every night just to make sure that our house has been looked after well. We're hard on them sometimes, but they do a good job. And shout out to local Rozzers everywhere. And see you in the next episode.